so I'm not sure if this is on mute yesterday or not. The sound didn't sound too good in the video. I usually don't watch my videos, but I wanted to see if like this mic actually worked. So what's weird to me after living like basically like a pauper the last few years is coming into this environment that I'm in, having all this access space. So I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment for 2 years. So basically it was a 1-bedroom, and then we had to get switched over to a 2-bedroom. We got kicked out of our 1-bedroom because it got flooded and they needed to go in there and do some stuff. So I asked for a 2-bedroom. Didn't feel like moving again. You know what I mean? I just didn't want to go somewhere new. So I just give me the 2-bedroom. So basically, I've felt like in transition. Seriously, I've felt like I've been in transition since basically I left Michigan in 2016. Even like, because a month after I moved to Washington State, I realized I made a mistake. I shouldn't have moved. But the thing is, I have grown a lot and I have more confidence in getting a different job. And if I would have stayed in Michigan, I don't know where I would be right now. I wouldn't have acquired new skills. I wouldn't have I would probably, if I was to lose my job, I probably would feel hopeless. Perhaps I would be in a different financial situation. Perhaps I wouldn't be. I just don't know. But I have felt like I haven't been at home. I haven't wanted to acquire things, furniture, anything to make the place. I've been living minimalistically. So I moved to this town where I'm at, and I have a 3-bedroom house now, and I use one of the bedrooms as an office / studio. I guess a makeshift studio. But you know, I sleep in my bedroom. That's all I do in there. And then when I want to like play video games or something, I'm in the living room. Well, before I had a living room, but I didn't really have any furniture in there. So basically, I spent all of my time in my bedroom. And that's why you see like the videos I would post in my bedroom and stuff like that, because that's where I spent most of my time. A mattress on the ground. At this point, like, I feel, even though I just got here, I haven't even lived here a month in this town, I actually feel like kind of at home. Even though I don't really have many friends and know many people, I feel at home because I like the small town feel. I like how it feels safe, it's peaceful. I'm not gonna say like there's nothing that happens here, but it's a lower chance of things happening here. I don't hear constant ghetto music out of people's cars. It does happen, but it's not as prevalent as what I'm used to. So for me, after the way I lived, even being like, so like even at one point, so when I moved to my dad's in Washington State, I basically stayed with them for 7 months, me and my kids. And then I got a 1-bedroom place, and me and my 2 sons shared that place for like 2 years. And then I moved to Missouri. I got a 3-bedroom place. It was kind of like a makeshift. It was like an old store that they made into a house. It was like weird, but you know, that was the first. I still didn't feel like I wanted to branch out. Then we moved into like a 2-bedroom place, and I still feel like, I wasn't content where I was at. I haven't felt content at all until now. Even moving back to Michigan, I really didn't feel like I had any type of a plan. Like, it was cool to go work at my old job and everything like that. And even have my kid come work with me, and we worked at, with each other. And that was a pretty cool experience. But I still didn't feel like content anywhere. I didn't feel like I belong there. I kind of feel at this point I do belong here, even if, like, hypothetically the owner of this house, after this lease is up, he sells it or decides he wants to move in, so I gotta move out. I plan on staying in this town, so like I have basically felt comfortable to get some furnishings to, like, have a couch, have a recliner, which I think one of my friends were helping me with that. But ordering stuff and trying to get like a desk, stuff like that. I've been like, it's been hard financially anyway, but I feel like I can loosen up slightly, it kind of feels like I'm at home, even though I'm not, even though I'm a stranger, I feel content here. I'm not saying it's gonna last forever, but I haven't felt like this in forever. I haven't felt like this in like 10 years, to feel like content. Like, I was talking to a family member yesterday, and I was telling them, like, I'm full of laundry, and they kind of made a joke, oh, that sucks. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I just got done living in my mom's basement for a month and a half, and I didn't want to unpack because I knew I wasn't going to stay there very long. I wasn't planning on it. So I didn't want to unpack and everything, so it was like, and my mom, like, wanted to do my laundry too, so like she folded it, and that was cool. But like, I didn't feel like sprawling out. I didn't feel like unpack, and that's how I felt for the last, man, for a long time. Like, I've unpacked everything. Nothing is in boxes anymore, and that's everything. Like, I've been having things in boxes, regardless if I stay here a year or not. I like this place, so I'll stay a couple of years. But I felt like I can't completely unpack. Even, like I said, even though this isn't my house, at the present time, I do feel at home to a certain extent. To fully unpack everything, to have nothing in boxes. It's a different feeling than what I'm used to. I feel like I've been in transit for 10 years, man. Even longer, like my whole life. Like, honestly, I haven't really felt at home anywhere. All I did when I was a kid is we moved around everywhere. So I pretty much haven't felt at home anywhere. It's been like, for me to feel like I'm at home in my lifetime, it's been a rarity. There's been a couple times I felt like this is a home. Most people don't stay in their homes nowadays. They they're called starter homes or whatever, I like that. But back in the old days, people would stay in their home, their whole life. And I don't know what that feels like. And probably a lot of people can relate where they moved around a lot. Of course, you're not gonna like live with your parents your whole life or nothing like that, but it's just like, like people would, maybe their parents pass on and pass their childhood home on to the kids. You don't see that much anymore. And then I think that with the reverse mortgages, you're going to see a lot of people who think that they're going to get something and they're going to get nothing. But I feel like everything just feels so fake. So I felt like this for a while, and I've felt like this society hasn't been sustainable, and I've seen it when you lift up the hood and you look at society and you what society basically is a nice clean car on the outside. It looks good, it could be like a 1978 Firebird when it's all like looking really good on the outside, right? Looks fabulous. But when you open up the hood, it's like a piece of shit. Worn out engine, or doesn't even start. It looks good on the outside, but when you delve into like the inner workings of society and you see what it really is, which I've seen for a while. Fuck, I felt this since I was a kid, man. Like, you wonder why society is breaking apart. Well, you can just look at the family breaking apart. Like people not liking the towns that they're in, and like, I want to get out of this town. And it's like, why? Like, why do you want to get out of your place that you know everybody? I was watching a little bit of The Wedding Singer the other day, and it's a pretty good movie. It's a really good movie. I think that people should watch that movie. But it's funny. I like Adam Sandler, but when he was talking to his woman, and this is fictional, obviously, but he was talking. It's like like the movies are kind of like a reflection of real life in some aspects, but he was talking to his woman that stood him up at the wedding altar, and she's basically. He was kind of like settling down, getting comfortable. He was just a wedding singer. He wasn't a rock star no more. And she kind of got sick. Like, that's why she was with him, because of his status. And you can see the hypergamous type of aspect back then as well. But I think it's on steroids now. But she was like, he was fine just being where he's at in that town. She wanted to leave the town. He's like, why? We know everybody here. Like, what else is out? Like, it's like everywhere is basically the same. I mean, you got the stores, you got movies. Like, it's this. I mean, some places might have more stuff to do, but you can just go visit. Like, to uproot yourself is crazy. But another thing too that was interesting to me is, granted, this is a movie, but the perception of the woman that slept around Drew Barrymore's best friend in that, or sister or whatever in that movie, what got me was, even though she was like sleeping around, but this is just a movie. She still had that excitement to, like, she wanted to date Adam Sandler, right? And she still had that, like, do you think he will? Do you think he'll like me? And Like, honestly, he was just like a regular guy. That's just a movie, but that's how it was for regular men back in the day. Like, women were still, uh, well, they were curious about the average man. They still looked up to average men. For now, they look down on average men, and it's because of social media, because these average guys keep making them out to be celebrities, and they're just regular people themselves. You know, most of us are just background people at the end of the day. Yeah, what are we doing? Like, we're doing, like, you're a mailman or you're a trash man. You're just somebody that helps keep society moving forward. You're a doctor. You're a lawyer. Like, most of us are not main players in the grand scheme of things. We really can't control much in the grand scheme of things. Makes me wonder if I really just am an NPC. Have I just woken up slightly? In some aspects, I'm an NPC. But I think that, you know, there's people that don't have an internal monologue, or they can't debate themselves or have any type of critical thinking. And it makes me wonder if, like, that has been conditioned in them. If that's like, that was just their destiny always. Because, like, when I'm driving to this, like, to work, and I'm going down the same path as always, and I don't have to sit here. You know, when you're going somewhere new, you gotta, like, figure things out. You're like completely, like, you're like, when you're driving anyway, you're aware, but, like, you're, like, really paying attention to stuff. Like, you don't want to miss your turn or whatever. Well, you already know your turn. It's automatic, and it makes me think that people put their lives in complete automation, where it's just routines, and they don't. And I think that aids to dementia, where you just sit there and do the same thing all the time, and you don't try to deviate or learn new things or take different paths, and parts of your brain start dying. I don't know, this is just some type of hypothesis that I've thought up myself. I'm sure somebody smarter has thought up this. I just don't know that they have or whatever. But it makes sense to me if you just keep doing the same thing every single day, the exact same thing, basically without really deviating from the path, then why would parts of your brain not keep work? Like, why would it keep functioning? Like, you don't need those parts of your brain as much. You just use the same parts of your brain all the time. So those parts that you don't use, I don't know. I just try to connect dots, and I'm probably wrong in my hypothesis or whatever. You know, that's probably not how the brain works. It probably, like, the whole thing is always firing all the time. I don't know. It's just something that's like, I mean, there's people that are young and are having dementia now. So, like, that was unheard of when I was growing up. So this is why I try to put two and two together, and, like, but maybe I'm wrong. You know what I mean? It's just a hypothesis. But, you know, who am I, right? Who am I? I'm a nobody. So anybody that enjoys listening to my content, I appreciate it. I try to be real. I try to tell the truth. I don't try to put out propaganda. If I do put out propaganda, and I recognize that it is propaganda, I try to retract that or stop doing it immediately. Because I try to tell the truth. I put a post up and I said, like, 10% of the things I get right, 10% of the things I get wrong, and 80% is just me trying to figure shit out. And that's what I'm just trying to do, is just try to figure shit out in this simulation we call life. So I think that's it. It's 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Independence Day. It's important for people to try to be independent as a unit, in my opinion, as possible, especially if you're a man, because at the end of the day, nobody cares about your struggles. The only people that care about your struggles is if the only struggles that people care about is if they see you overcome them. That's when they care about your struggles. But if you just have struggles and you don't do nothing to try to solve those struggles, nobody gives a shit. That's just how it is. For women, women are just like, they can just do whatever, like, and they'll be either admired, taken in, whatever. But that's the thing that people have to, like, you're a young man, you know, if you are, like, I seen a video today of this rich guy, and apparently the situation is some young attractive woman was just standing there with like an attitude, and you know, he's trying to talk to her, and I don't know the story, but that's what the perception is, and that's what the little tweet said. Basically, she was not given the time of day until his Porsche was delivered to him right in front of her, like by what is those people called that park your car for you? I forgot. You know what I'm talking about. And no, she jumped right in his car. Old man, like 80 years old. And you know, the Red Pill creators, that's what they are trying to push people towards, is like, keep working your butt off, and you know, this is what you have to look forward to. Somebody that only cares about me for my money, which I understand. I understand that's a part of it. That's a necessary evil. But I don't want somebody that only cares about my money and that's it. I want somebody that appreciates time with me, that actually wants to do things with me other than just like what I can buy them, where I can take them, when they actually want to spend genuine time with me. And if we, intimate, I want passion. I'm used, like, when I was intimate before, I got spoiled with passion. It was always passionate. So I want somebody who is going to be passionate. You know, I want somebody who's going to do the little things that I don't ask to do for them, but they're thinking of me, not just of what I can do for them all the time. So like, I don't agree with these Red Pill groups. It's like basically in that scenario, if my whole purpose is just to, you know, try to work as hard as I can so I can try to appease some gold digger in the future, then why don't I just get an escort? You know, like, why do I need to try to learn the game or do all this extra stuff? Like, if that's my goal and all I care about is getting a superficial woman's attention, then I'll just focus on the money. I don't have to worry about going to the gym. I don't have to worry about what I eat. I don't have to worry about being healthy. I don't have to worry about any of this shit that they push. You know, I'll just, hey, if that's my goal, is I want a superficial, high maintenance woman, then I'll just focus on making the money instead of having to like what they talk about is like so unattainable and unrealistic. I mean, to be honest, especially if like the regular man, like what they're talking about. Even if you're young, you could spend all this time trying to make yourself better, which you should. I think that people should make themselves better, and I think that's a good thing. I think we should try to improve ourselves. And they advocate for doing it for yourself, but all they talk about is women. Like seriously. If it's all about money, if that's all it is about money and sex, why the fuck do I care about learning about female nature? Why the fuck, if I'm only gonna look at them as objects, and I'm going to try to attract women just by my money, and that's the only thing that's gonna have value, why do I have to focus on learning anything else and improving anything else? That's why I don't get with these people. Listen, if that appeases you, where you just want to, if you look at women as objects and you just want, young women in your life, just focus on making the money, dude. Just focus on trying to get rich, and don't worry about fucking trying to check all these fucking boxes like these people try to tell you to, unless that's what you want to do. Because if it's only about being superficial, then what's the point? What's the point of trying to learn game and trying to build your body up for doing this shit? At the end of the day, when you're old, nobody gives a fuck about you. Like, this isn't high school, okay? Like, are you gonna be like in front of the screen? Like, are you gonna be a celebrity? Like, who the fuck gives a shit if you're a fat ass person or you're fucking ripped when you're old? If it's almost like they want you to try to check all these boxes so you can try to get sex for free. Like, at the end of the day, like, they're so superficial. It just doesn't make any sense. And then, like, the problem I have with them is they're a bunch of pussies. Like, to be honest, like, Rollo Tomasi's a fucking pussy. Andrew Tate's a big fucking pussy. These people both have blocked me. They're both fucking pussies. Richard Cooper, he's a fucking pussy. He blocks people too. Like, if you block people, you're a fucking pussy to me. I mean, I let people write whatever the fuck they want. I don't block anyone. I haven't blocked a single person. The only person I've ever blocked was my ex-fiance. That was the only person that I blocked, because I wanted to end that fucking cycle. But I let people say what the fuck that they want to say. These people are fucking bitches, man. They're fucking frauds, and they're just trying to sell you shit. They're trying to sell you fucking hope and all this fucking bullshit by using whatever hardships that you've been through to try to get money off of you. And they're so immature. Like, they say, like, some of the stuff they say is true for sure, 100%. I agree with a lot of stuff they say. Well, they say that men are supposed to be the leaders, but then they act like children by sleeping around with a bunch of women. That's what they advocate for. They're immature. If you're old, like Richard Cooper or fucking Rollo Tomasi or me, and you're still trying to act like you're cool, like Rollo Tomasi's wearing his fucking do-rag and he's trying to act like he's fucking ripped and shit, and he's like he dresses like he's about to go out and be in a wrestling contest, like a WWE wrestling contest. It's like, dude, you're fucking old, okay? Like, you're a father, man. Like, unless like you're gonna be in a movie or something like that, like dressing like that in real life is just fucking dumb. Why are you put a costume on to try to like at the end of the day, like, it's all about money anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter. Especially with these young women. So like yeah, I don't really respect a lot of them. I like Aaron Clarey's okay, but a lot of the stuff that these people are talking about, this doesn't really, it's like outdated fucking information that doesn't really appeal to nowadays. It worked really good back in the past. But these people were kind of like, what they remind me of is like boomers telling me to go to college when I was a kid, or telling kids to go to college now. Like, dude, college is fucking retarded to go to right now. It's like, why would you want to even like? I understand it's cool. Like, I'm walking through college, the college campus, and riding through it, and it's like that's cool, man. I wish I could have done that when I was a kid, but it's just like you really don't need to, you know. I've worked with people who have like college degrees, and they're at the same level as me, and I don't have shit. I get a fucking GED. I'm the lowest of the low. I'm uneducated because I'm fucking stupid compared to these people, but they make the same amount of money as me. So it's just like, you really need shit, dude. So that'll be it.